Exercise 11.5, quadrilateral properties and formulas. First property of a quadrilateral. Quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides. Prefix quad means 4, just as in triangle was a 3-sided polygon because tri means 3. There are 4 types of quadrilaterals that we're going to focus on: parallelograms, trapezoids, squares, and rectangles. First, the parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which both pair of opposite sides are parallel. Second property of parallelograms is that they have opposite sides and opposite angles are congruent to one another. So in this picture, if we know that this is quadrilateral ABCD, we know that these opposite sides are congruent. We know that opposite angles are congruent. So angle B is congruent to D. Angle C is congruent to angle A. And both pair of opposite sides are parallel, which means this side here is parallel to this side here. And this top side is parallel to this bottom side. So just by being given the fact that this is a quadrilateral, you would know all of those things. Opposite sides parallel, opposite angles congruent, opposite sides congruent. Formula to find the area of any parallelogram is area equals base times height. So looking at our first example here, find the area of this parallelogram. Formula, area equals base times height. And the only thing you need to be careful of, make sure, just like what we talked about in triangles, that you are identifying the height as the distance between the top and bottom side in this case. And the key thing is you're looking for that right angle. That's going to tell you where the height is. So the base here is 16. The height is the segment represented by 4 because that is the perpendicular distance. The only thing you need to be careful of is you're not using the slant height here, 6. Multiply that out, and we get an area of 64 square units. Second type of quadrilateral is a trapezoid. Difference between a trapezoid and a parallelogram is a trapezoid only has one pair of parallel sides, unlike a parallelogram, which both pair are parallel. There's an example of a trapezoid. The top and bottom side are parallel. The left and right side are not parallel. Therefore, that's what makes it a trapezoid. And there's our formula for finding area of a trapezoid. Sum of the bases, B1 plus B2, times the height, divided by 2. Notice the two bases, B1 and B2, are the two sides that are parallel. That's how you're going to know which are the bases of your trapezoid. The two sides that are parallel to one another are the two bases that you plug in. Again, the height is the perpendicular distance, so you're going to want to look for that right angle to identify the height. Second one, find the area of this trapezoid. Area, it's height times the sum of the bases divided by 2. Height in this case is 5. Bases are the two sides that are parallel, so that's 24 plus 16 divided by 2. Make sure you follow order of operations. We need to do the addition before we multiply here, so I have 5 times 24 plus 16 is 40. We do that first because it's in parentheses. Plug that into your calculator. 5 times 40 divided by 2, and we get 100 square units. Remember, anytime we're talking about an area, area is always given in square units. Last two quadrilaterals, ones that you should know the most about. Rectangles. A rectangle is a parallelogram. that has 4 right angles and opposite sides are congruent. So remember, parallelograms can be broken up further. A specific type of parallelogram is a rectangle. If it is a rectangle, then it has to have 4 right angles and opposite sides are congruent. A second type of parallelogram is a square. A square is one that has 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. So if we look at a square here, we know if it's a square that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles, and we know all sides have to be congruent. If it is a rectangle, a rectangle also has 4 right angles, but the only thing we know on a rectangle is that opposite sides are congruent, so we would have that information there.